In brief moments, we mark our beginning. In compassion, we find freedom. Welcome to your ledger, where you author your story. Episode 9 of The Quiet Ledger, The Deep Breath. Please remember that the TQL series offers gentle guidance and metaphorical frameworks for financial wellness. This is not professional financial, legal, or therapeutic advice. Always consult a qualified professional before making specific financial decisions. Welcome, I am Teach, the Sage. Last time, we steadied the hand and practiced the quality of attention that daily consistency asks of us. Today, we return to the deep breath, turning our attention to the horizon line and the steadiness it offers when the present moment feels dense. The sage understands something about the horizon line. It is always there. It remains steady through the weather of the moment, and finding it, returning the gaze to where the sky meets the earth in the far distance, changes the quality of the breath. The sage also knows that the horizon line is a practice. The capacity to locate it when the moment asks more of you is built by returning to it in calm ones. Each return deepens the ease of the next. Today we build that practice. Let us anchor ourselves in the now. Breathe in deeply, gathering the stillness, and breathe out, releasing tension in your jaw and shoulders. One more, inviting calm focus, and out, settling the mind into peace. You are perfectly safe here. The horizon line, it is always there, the same distance from where you stand. Regardless of the weather in the foreground, consider what this episode invites. Discernment, the capacity to pause and locate what is actually present. The capacity to pause when pressure arrives and locate the horizon line before responding when the notification demands immediate action, when the sale ends in hours, when the statement arrives, carrying more than just a number. In these moments, the breath returns something important. It creates the space to ask whether this is genuine urgency or pressure that has dressed itself as urgency. The sage understands that the horizon line is a steadying resource. Finding it in a pressured moment changes the quality of what is possible. The decision made with the horizon in view carries a different quality than the one made only in response to what is immediately in front of you. The deep breath is the practice of finding the horizon line when the foreground is full. Today we practice it. The sage also understands that the horizon line asks only for a moment of direction. Even in the middle of what is pressing, the horizon is there. It has always been there. The breath is what makes it visible. The sage also understands that this capacity to find the horizon line grows with practice. What requires effort in a pressured moment becomes more available the more often it is sought in quieter ones. Today is one of those quieter ones. A grounding idea supports our reflection with the deep breath, offered by Marcus Aurelius, who wrote from the middle of extraordinary pressure and arrived at a clarity that is not diminished with time. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This settles near the center of what the sage has come to understand. The deep breath carries this recognition at its core. A bill arrives, an unexpected cost, an account balance at the end of a month that asks more. These are outside events. They exist in the world of facts. Your response to them, the breath taken before you act, the discernment before you decide, the steadiness maintained between what arrived and what you choose to do, that is where your power lives. In the practice of finding clarity and spending decisions, this is the quality the sage brings most carefully into view. Marcus Aurelius wrote this from the center of real pressure, from the demands of a life that offered no easy distance. He found that the space between event and response was available even there. The sage senses that the deep breath is that space, and that it is available in every moment that asks for a decision. However pressured the moment feels, the power lives in the pause. The stillness arrives with the breath. Both are available. Our first anchor is orientation. There is often a moment when a spending decision arrives. Before we have had time to consider it carefully, a message arrives, an offer appears, a window of availability closes. In that moment, something in the body registers the pressure of timing before the mind is finished asking whether this choice is truly wanted. Many of us have learned to move through that moment quickly, treating the sensation of urgency as a reliable guide to what matters. Yet urgency created by external timing and urgency arising from our own values feel different when we slow down enough to notice the distinction. When we observe that difference, even briefly, something useful becomes visible. We begin to see which decisions carry real weight and which carry borrowed pressure. That distinction is where understanding begins. Our second anchor is action. You might explore a brief pause before any spending decision that arrives this week with a sense of external urgency. One breath, sometimes two or three, long enough for what you actually value to become audible beneath the noise of the moment. You may find that when an offer arrives with a closing window, the pause itself reveals whether the purchase reflects something you are already moving toward or something that only feels urgent because of its framing. You may find that before reviewing an account or authorizing a transfer, a deliberate breath shifts your attention from the pressure of the moment to the fuller picture of your priorities. You may find that in the small space between stimulus and response, your judgment has more room to operate than the pace of daily life usually allows. The practice costs almost nothing and returns something significant. You have this capacity already. This week, you are applying it to your spending decisions. Our third anchor is reframing. You might recognize that our most considered spending decisions, the ones we return to with the most satisfaction, came from a steadier place. They came from a moment of quiet assessment, from allowing the question to settle before answering it. The pause between receiving a prompt and making a choice is where your values have room to be heard. Quick reactions to external pressure are a learned pattern, and one that can be gradually adjusted. The most considered choices share a particular quality. Internal sense and practical assessment were in step before we acted. The pause was the source. Each time you create that space, you are practicing the kind of decision-making that holds up over time. We are cultivating the practice of bringing deliberate attention to our spending decisions, creating space for perspective to arrive before commitment does. Consider the nature of a horizon steadiness. How the horizon keeps its position while everything nearby shifts and changes. Present, constant, a fixed point for everything else to orient toward. Gathered, settled, the horizon offering the same distance from wherever you stand, neither closer nor further, simply present, a fixed reference in a shifting field, reliable, at rest. Notice the space to discern. The breath taken before a decision settles, where the view you are looking for was waiting. Stillness allows the decision to arrive from the right place, the steadiness arriving when the moment is given enough room, the choice forming from a settled place, the decision arriving clean. What you are looking for was waiting here. Consider the nature of a horizon's clarity. How the horizon shows what is real, beyond the moment. Perspective arriving through stillness. Your quiet pause before a decision moves with this same quality. This is what it means to find clarity in your spending decisions. The quality extends, the horizon offering perspective to every decision made from stillness. The long view in every small choice, present, informing, steadily. As we return to our shared space, the deep breath invites a gentle shift in how we recognize the difference between urgency that is ours and urgency that was handed to us. You might consider 3 breaths before any financial decision that carries pressure, whether the pressure is coming from a purchase because the sale ends soon, a commitment that feels time pressured, a request that demands immediate action, or returning to a choice you are still holding. In those 3 breaths, something essential tends to happen. The noise of the world has a chance to quiet. The artificial urgency has a chance to reveal itself. What is actually real begins to surface. You may find yourself seeing what truly matters beneath the surface pressure, and recognizing the difference between what is honestly important and what only feels urgent. The sage offers a plain parallel. The breath creates the moment, where your own recognition finds its footing, where you have enough room to know your own values and to sense the difference between authentic need and borrowed pressure. Thank you for being here, for being willing to pause before a decision that carries pressure, and to practice the quiet act of letting your own sense of what is in front of you arrive before the urgency moves you. In the coming days, you might find yourself recognizing the pressure as something that arrived from outside, and noticing that your own reading of the situation is available. When you give it a moment, finding that what the breath revealed was there the whole time, waiting for the noise to settle. I am Teach, the Sage. Thank you for returning to this ledger. May you move through your days with the breath available to you in every moment that carries pressure, and the growing ability to hear the difference between what is honestly yours and what was handed to you. Until we meet again. Next time on your journey in the series, we will find the steady rhythm, building patterns that align with the natural cycles of our life.